7 a.m. What's up, Goat in the house? I see some messages coming in wherever you're tuning in. As you guys check in, I'll give you a bit of a rundown. So we live streamed the Netflix girl fights last night. Congrats to all the boys who hit on Katie Taylor. There were some interesting judges' scorecards throughout the entire fight card. One of those was, in my opinion, Miranda versus Alicia Baumgartner. I mean, they gave Baumgartner a decision, but two of the judges scored it 98-92 two times for Baumgartner. I thought that fight was a lot closer. Miranda was tough. And once again, Taylor Serrano could have gone either way. So looking back, I'm kind of pissed off at myself. How did I overlook Katie Taylor's backhand, her counters, her precision? So yeah, I'm not a huge, what's up DJ? I told you guys all week, I don't really bet on women's boxing. I bet on, I'll break the fights down. I'll bet on Gabby Fundora when she fights because I win a lot on her. And then the only fight I bet on, I lost. I took Serrano, but it went Taylor. Those two are so evenly matched, so I'm not mad at it. Now, I woke up this morning. I want to share a story with you guys. I'm not going to put anyone on blast, but one of the bettors on our channel goes to the casino to put a wager on. He's a big bettor, and they changed the rules in the casino. They said that nobody is allowed to win more than $500 on boxing prop bets. I just found that interesting. He screenshotted it to me. If you go to the post section right now on my channel, videos, playlists, shorts, posts, check it out. Because he was winning so much on boxing prop bets, the casino changed the rule to say no bettor is allowed to win more than $500 on a prop bet. That is insane to me. What's up, DJ? You heard about it too? But DJ, are you referencing the story I just told you about the prop bet? Oh yeah, he sent it to me. Isn't that insane? I just found that so wild. So I just told him to keep his head up and make a pivot. For every casino that does that, I mean, that's just a sign that you know you're onto a sort of system. You know, winning money repetitively on boxing is all about creating a proven system. Even if it's I would say 70%. I mean, even if it's over 50%, if you have a method of what you're risking, you're going to be in the green. You know what I'm saying? But I found that crazy, and the sign was all bougie and homemade. It was like they just printed it out, and it was like, come on, dude, you guys are out of your mind. Casinos are some of the biggest frauds. So I also wanted to mention, Win Santiago, appreciate you, brother. That's awesome. Thank you for the support, Win. So I also want to let you guys know, as you know on the channel, the longer you stay around, just because we disagree on some bets doesn't mean I shout everyone out if you win. So Win Santiago, I'm gonna give a shout out to Kane. They hit on Katie Taylor. So if ever you want me to show or repost your bets, your wins, your tickets, just email me them. Or follow me on Instagram. You can message me your bets, your tickets, and then I'll repost them on the YouTube channel and tag you. And this gives you a way also of keeping your receipts. Yeah, they were good fights. So I do want to, before we get into the Wild West, because already 4 minutes in, the chat's getting already crispy. So my two locks today, it only pays $1.30. I've already given you my parlay. I could go over those as well. I have 3 major tickets working today. The one that pays $1.30, 2 locks. I feel that I know a couple really big guys. I know some guys who are going heavy on this bet. 10 grand only gets them 3 grand in return, so it's only $1.30. And so I've been wrestling with the idea of even sharing it. But, you know, 10 grand to get 3 grand for me, I don't really, it's a bit risky. But if you take Morrell and Shakur on the money line, that's the bet. So that's the bet that, and 20 grand gets you 6 grand if you keep doing the math. I don't know. I don't have that sort of bankroll to bet 10 grand to win 3 grand, but I know people are. Yeah, I know people do it, and people are going into this card thinking that David Morrell and Shakur are absolute locks to where They're throwing 10K at those 2 fights for them just to win. Now, I do have action on those 2 fights, but I'm not going that heavy. I do want to let you know, and just like last night, I want to clarify, when you boys get it right and I get it wrong, like Taylor over Serrano, I love that. So that's why I share your picks even when I'm wrong. So as you guys are checking in, let's like this video. The channel's grown, the page is grown. I woke up this morning. We have new Johnny Says Boxing Insiders. What's up, Terrell Farron? So if you guys want to join the Johnny Says Boxing Insider group on YouTube, so this basically gives you all the perks to, like, if I were to do a Discord or a Patreon. It's a couple bucks a month. What this allows you to do is get, first-hand insights on videos, shout-outs, personalized sort of content, locks of the week, prop bets. I put a lot of the betting. What I'm going to do moving forward, because we just started it this week, I'm going to put a lot of the insider info in the Johnny Says Insider group. So if you want to support the channel in that way, if you could spare a couple bucks a month. Morrell to beat Kataev isn't a lock. Some people think it is. Okay, so what I like this. What are your method of victories, guys? So I'll go over my method of victories. It pays 9 to 1. The David Morrell fight starts in about 3 hours. What's up, Christian Vargas? Muscle Brown in the house. Yeah, so we're gonna go. Here are the updated odds on the method of victory. I'm gonna just do the four major fights. David Morrell versus Monkatiev. I've heard all the people I know who are taking Morrell, it's kind of flip-flopped. Do you want Morrell by decision? Do you want Morrell on the money line? Do you want Morrell by stoppage? So if you take Morrell on the money line, it's $1.11. If you take Morrell by stoppage, it's $1.72. Alberto Puyo, Subriel Matias. My favorite prop bet on that fight is, will the fight go the distance? Yes, at $1.80. But that's because I picked Puyo to win. So I like that fight to go the distance at $1.80. I think if it plays out the way I think it's going to play out, Puyo is going to outbox him, win more rounds. Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda. If you're going to go prop bet on that, I like Shakur by decision. It's $1.50. So if you really like Shakur to beat Zepeda, I know the sexy bet right now, people are saying Shakur by stoppage. I just don't see Zepeda getting stopped. And then the other one is Berlanga versus Shiraz. I mean, I never will say. I think the last time I said a method of victory for my lock was Josh Kelly versus Flavia Bea. I think that was the last time I said that was my method of victory for a lock of the week, and it hit. I usually will just do it, a 2-leg money line, 3-leg money line, and give those as my locks. A little sneaky parlay, $1.40. But Berlanga versus Shiraz to not go the distance is $1.95. So I love that bet. If you want to watch Berlanga versus Shiraz and not need somebody to win, you just need somebody to get stopped. Apostle, if you want me to share these picks, comment on one of my posts, and I'll reshare them. Berlanga coming out to I Will Survive. What's up, Adu? Appreciate you. Yeah, guys, everybody on this chat, if you have your picks, share them, not on this live stream, though. Go to my channel and comment, and I'll see the notification, and then I'll repost. You've done Shiraz outright. I know a lot of people like Shiraz outright. Morrell decision. On my breakdown this week of the analysis, I talked about it all week. I took Berlanga on the money line, but my favorite bet of the whole fight is the prop. What's up, Rando? My favorite bet of the fight is the fight not to go the distance. So we're just kind of talking about what's in front of us. I know a lot of you guys are you guys taking action on Vladimir Hernandez? All I need is one knockdown in the Berlanga fight. What's that paying? Let's go over 0.5 knockdowns on Berlanga. Knockdown markets. Wow, that's a good pay. So if you get just one knockdown, it's $1.64. DJ Green, what's up, buddy? When Tim Bradley is calling people hype jobs, I don't know what's Bradley's sort of agenda to call 28, 29-year-old kids hype jobs. It's bizarre. I don't pay too much about. Good, Johnny. They disabled the promo years ago on Underdog. Good in the house. He's the underdog king. If you guys know anything about MMA, Eddie Alvarez was the underground king. You can just email me, Good. Just email me. My email's in my bio on YouTube. Yeah, $1.64 for just one knockdown in Berlanga Shiraz. I like that too. Let's check the over on Vladimir Hernandez, because a lot of people were asking me about Vladimir. I'm not betting on the Pro Box card though. I do like Berlanga Shiraz. The knockdown prop, I'm loving it. $1.64. You take Berlanga Shiraz, one knockdown at $1.64, and Shakur on the money line. I mean, come on. That might be the way to go. I already got action, but I mean, if you take the knockdown prop for Berlanga and Shiraz over 0.5, that's $1.64. And you parlay that with Shakur on the money line, $1.82. I mean, shit, 10 grand gets you 8,000 back. You guys feeling the winners would be Morrell, Shiraz, Shakur, Matias? No, I'm taking Morrell, Shakur, Puyo, Berlanga. I think Hernandez and Barron at least going to hit the over. Is this Shakur big breakfast fight? That's what I wonder. What's up, Mike Trades? The David Morrell Amon Katia fight is going to start in $9:45, 3 hours. Yeah, so right now, if it sticks to schedule, Katia and Morrell starts in 3 hours. So my girlfriend spent the night last night, so she's actually sleeping. When you're betting on an underdog, that's an over, and I can make parlays for you. Good, email me. You're welcome, Mike. Good, send me an email. It's johnnystofco@iCloud. I also got some information. If you guys are in, did anybody in your Discord group on Gary's, did any of you guys hear about the Tszyu info I got? Goat's going to the fights. Have fun, Goat, man. Dude, going to the fights at that little tennis stadium would be dope. What is it, Louis Armstrong? They're fighting in Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York. That'd be a cool little venue to see fights in. But I get messages all the time from either, sharp bettors and people who box. Who do you see at upset? Okay, did anybody share the Tszyu news with you guys in the Discord or no? I want to know first, because I told one person, but in our little circle, the news travels fast. I didn't bet more yesterday. Those fights were more predictable. Okay, good. So the news didn't share. I'll save it for tomorrow. I want to wait till these fights go down. So I get people hit me up all the time on my email or Instagram. So if you guys are on Instagram, you want to share bet tickets, just if you follow me on Instagram, I'll follow you back. It's just my name, Johnny Stofco. But in terms of upsets, to answer your question, right now, Berlanga is the only dog I'm taking. I mean, Morrell's the favorite, Shakur's the favorite, Puyo's the favorite slightly. Amon Katiev's tough. I just don't think he's defensively sound, and I don't trust Katiev's gas tank. Did you guys do film study on Katiev? Did you guys, if you want, Yeah, it was crazy. Katiev popped against Derval Palacio. If you guys didn't watch Film Study, go watch my breakdown of Katiev versus Palacio. So John Doe, you'll get the option if you refresh your YouTube app, John. It'll right next to subscribe. Like if you've subscribed, it'll say join. It was 4 months ago, good. So Katiev was supposed to be disallowed against Palacio, but that fight was in Australia. Yeah, he's an Olympian. He lives in Sydney. He's managed by Jim Kambosis, George's dad. So I've heard about Katiev since he was an amateur. I will. I'm not going to talk about Tim Tszyu right now, though. I just want to make sure that one of my boys in Gary's 3D group didn't say anything. People have bad cams to stab it up. Yeah, boys be crying. I talked about that. Yeah, Matias has this slick way of making people feel comfortable with his power. I talked about that. And then before you know it, all of that sort of accumulative power adds up about the 5th or 6th round, and their feet are gone and they can't move. So that's Matias' path to victory. I still like Puyo to outbox him. Pardeep. Yeah, so Pardeep, clomiphene, clomid, we talked about it's something that a lot of guys on anabolics take. Any sort of exogenous testosterone, you'll take it to limit the chance of growing breasts. One of the things, anti-estrogen. So, but Puyo popped for it too, and he said that it was because him and his wife were trying to get pregnant. Yeah, I think David Morrell is legit, guys. I think David Morrell will be a world champion. He's still green, but I think Morrell took a lot from the Benavidez fight. My locks, dude. Shakur on the money line at $1. If you want more juice, Shakur by decision. So either Shakur on the money line, Shakur by decision, under 1.5 knockdowns in the Shakur fight, and then Berlanga, Shiraz, the fight not to go the distance. Or I know Eister doesn't like this pick, but Berlanga, Shiraz over 0.5 knockdowns. Yeah, a lot of the boys are betting on Vlad Hernandez. Guys, I'm not betting on the Pro Box card today. So I made an adjustment with my own bankroll about 4 weeks ago to where I don't bet on every single fight. Like the girls last night, I bet on one fight. I know a lot of people bet on all the fights. I covered the fights, but I only bet on one fight. Tonight, I'm only betting on 4 fights. Okay, Jack has all 4 fights going the distance. I could see the Berlanga Shiraz fight getting stopped early. Yeah, Morrell is one of my locks. Morrell, like I said, if you want, it's only $1.30. Morrell, Shakur, money line, locks. Guys, if you watch Kataev versus Derval Palacio, his last fight in Australia, Kataev is a bully. He wants to get you out of there. He dropped Derval Palacio, a tough Argentinian fighter. Kind of a, I don't want to call Derval. He's a journeyman. Dropped him early, and he couldn't get him out of there. And then by like the 7th, 8th round, Katiev is gassed, and his head stays right here on the midline, hands down like this, and Palacio is just fucking. He took a lot of shots. I think Morrell. If Morrell, invests in the body early, uses his slickness, extends him out of the pocket, fights him at range and fights him in the pocket, I could see Morrell stopping Kataev. I could see him stopping Kataev late. Hernandez and Barron, I'm not betting on those fights. Eister. Dude, Morrell could crack. A safe bet Morrell on the money line. If you want a prop bet, I'd go the fight not to go the distance. I think Morrell could stop him. No, he didn't fight in Australia. He fought an Argentinian. Katiev lives in Australia. I don't trust Shiraz's chin. I don't trust Shiraz's durability. Kane, I shared your picks. Kane's in the house. Morrell never got dropped either by Benavidez. Yeah, they're both green. If we're gonna play the green card, I mean, one has 10 pro fights, the other has 11, I think, right? I thought it was a slip. Kalachik. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, like this video. We got 100 people on the stream. 28 people have liked it. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to join our boxing group, Johnny says Insider. It's a couple bucks a month. You'll get a bunch of insider info on bets, props, parlays. And I get people email me all the time with insider info on upcoming fights. I'm going to start sharing that with you boys. We've had the insider group for 4 days. We got about 40 people in there, so I really appreciate everybody. Do you usually put all your lock parlays or straights? FX, it really depends. There are UFC fights this week. I have a UFC ticket working too, guys. Yeah, Badillo's going to win that fight. I'm not betting on Badillo, though. I'm not betting on any of the pro box cards, guys. Matias got a new coach. Boys be crying. I thought Matias... The thing, when I broke down Matias and Puyo, and I talked about this in my upload, if you're new to my channel, you want to see my edited breakdown prediction analysis videos, go to my playlist section, find fight predictions. Those are the stats don't lie videos. Those will date back a year. And when I was breaking down Puyo and Matias, I was talking about people were saying the same thing when Matias lost to Pero. They were like, Matias's aura is gone. He lost his belt to Pero. That's it. You know, he's not going to get another chance. Goes out, has 2 more fights, and, you know, wins them, and now he has another chance. And did you guys see? This is something no one's talking about. Who's the kid? So, Subriel Matias fought a dude in March. Galaz. Subriel Matias fights Galaz in March. Beats him up. Fight like brutal, typical Matias fashion. I think he stopped him late. And then Galaz takes a fight 6-7 weeks later. We covered it on the channel. In Mexico, in his hometown. And Galaz was not the same guy. He was fighting a 12-1 local kid, and I felt the local kid, the club level kid, won the fight. This would have been 6 weeks ago. Did you guys see that? My point is, what Matias does, man, what he does to his opponent's neurological system, it's insane. Because he has accumulative power. He methodically, I still don't think that's going to work against Puyo. Puyo's going to be bigger than you guys think. When Puyo fills out, and you know he fights tall, that long southpaw style, he don't let his knockout to win ratio fool you either. Yeah, Gala Valenzuela. Did you see that last fight? It was like Galaz Valenzuela. He had no feet all of a sudden. And I don't know if it was because he took the fight like 7 weeks after the Matias stoppage, but he was fighting a guy in his hometown. Both were from I think it was either in Tijuana or maybe Michoacan. He couldn't move. It was insane, and he got gifted a decision. He was like a 12-1. He got gifted a decision. He couldn't do anything against his club level guy. No shade to the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was definitely put there to lose. And my point is, Matias definitely, he has that thudding power that kind of, it changes people. So, but all that aside, I'm leaning on the fact of, you know, Puyo having the better boxing skills, Puyo fighting better at range. I don't like when Matias throws and misses. I don't like how Matias gets off on his front foot. I don't like Matias's balance at times. And so, but he's aggressive, he's dangerous. He can't keep Matias off of him. Yeah, okay, Eister, we see eye to eye. Puyo will get hurt early and lose his legs. You think he has a weak guard? Puyo has a high guard. Puyo's here. You know, he's not here. Puyo likes fighting like that. He'll tag him with everything. I think what Liam Paro did to Matias, Puyo is going to turn the dial up on that. But Liam is fucking world class. Yeah, I think Liam's backhand, see that? Liam's backhand is better than Puyo's, but I think Puyo has better feet. Puyo's a bit more slick. Liam was getting hit a lot at the end of mid to late rounds against Subriel. Like, Liam didn't dog walk Subriel by no means. It was close. I think if my memory serves me correctly, I think Liam won a split. But he was getting hit a lot. Yeah, the card's exciting. Guys, wherever you tapping in, because you like this video, we're floating between 100 and 125 on the live. 37 have liked it. Subscribe to the channel. This chat, if you're new guys to the channel, this is filled with a lot of really smart boxing heads. So just because you see somebody disagreeing with me doesn't mean that they're wrong. We're all learning. You know, I've been in the game since I was 7, but nobody knows everything about boxing. Yeah, Paro, bro, that just because Subriel lost that fight doesn't mean Liam dog walked him. That's all I'm saying. I think what Liam did do though, in terms of initial game plan, how he was fighting him, I think that he put the blueprint for Puyo, and I think Puyo could do that better. I like what Puyo looked like from about rounds 4 onwards against Gary Antoine Russell. I like what he looked like against GAR, how he took control in that fight. And then, you know, people always talk about the Sandor Martin fight. Dude, Sandor Martin is a nightmare for anybody in terms of his style. You watch Sandor Martin, weird southpaw style, crafty in the pocket, you know, has these awkward angles. So, you know, getting a victory against Sandor Martin in any way possible is a good feather in the cap. He did have a close loss to Akhmedov, or he beat Akhmedov. People thought he lost the fight to Akhmedov. I'm just giving you a rundown of Puyo's recent history. He was supposed to fight Raleigh for a world title, popped for Clomid. Puyo popped for Clomid, the same thing that, you know, we just saw Katiev pop for. Yeah, Christ is the truth. You just got to feel bad. You just got to feel bad for Martin Sandor because he always loses close decisions. You know what I mean? Sandor Martin is always like, dude, this guy's gonna win. The Teo decision was super close. I mean, he could have had the decision. He just doesn't. He loses a lot of close rounds. Up until Tevin got stopped against Floyd Schofield, I was saying the same thing about Tevin. I was like, Tevin just loses a lot of close rounds, loses a lot of close fights. Can't lose parlay. Puyo Matias over 10.5. Shakur money line. PSG to lift the cup. PSG. I love it. Boxing, and I don't watch soccer, but I assume that's soccer. Just gave Duarte. And Duarte, when did that? I thought Duarte is fighting Kenneth Sims Jr. right? Next week, next month. Oscar Duarte, mate. Ever since he lost to Ryan, he's leveling up. You know, I just hope in terms of the eye test, and I'm not throwing shade, but it is the sport. We have to mention it. I just hope Duarte never pops because from his physicality, what he looks like as of late, dude, Oscar Duarte, I always side on the side of the fighter. You know, the guy obviously looks like he lives in the gym. He lives the lifestyle. Since he lost to Ryan, each fight, he's looked better and better. I'm interested to see what he looks like against Kenneth Sims Jr. Puyo gets super tired a lot. He does sit on the to roll out. I think that's his defensive style. Morrell has to go the distance. You think Morrell? I like Morrell on the money line. Matias stops Akhmedov has a weak gas tank. Teo versus Keyshawn, 1,000 for Shakur, no knockdowns. I like that bet. It was a few months ago. I think I watched that fight then. Max 2002. I like that bet by knockout. What's that pay or a knockdown prop? Let's do a knockdown prop real quick on Matias versus Morrell. I just want to see a knockdown prop bet. Morrell by stoppage, $1.72. I actually have that on one of my parlays. Will the fight go the distance? Yes or no? That's an interesting one, whichever side you lean on. And they're not giving me any knockdown props on it. I'm not getting knockdown props on it. I've never seen Puyo get tired. I think whoever said Puyo gets tired is maybe referring to his style. I think he's really good. I think Puyo is really good. I think he's a really good boxer. His feet are good. His hands are good. He has better power than people think. He knows how to manage distance and range. He knows how to score points. He knows how to win rounds. He uses a whole ring. Puyo's really, guys, Puyo can box. Golden Boy. Yeah, there was a lot of money to be made on the live bets last night. Eister's taking Vladimir and the Argentinian kid over right now. Guys, yeah, if you're asking about the Pro Box card, ask David Eister. He's a regular on the channel. He's on my live streams every day. I don't have any action on the Pro Box card today. But I know some of the boys do in the chat. Yeah, Vladimir here. A lot of people are up on. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Puyo is ass. Don't bet on him then. Good. My only worry about is how he handles Matias's body shots. Yeah. Erdenbat is the only lock. If you guys are getting stressed out about betting, don't bet. If you guys are betting more than you could lose, don't bet. If you're not having fun betting, don't bet. If it's not for entertainment purposes, don't bet. Guys, don't bet to get rich. Don't bet to, you know, have a, if you're not doing it as an entertainment purpose. I mean, there's a few guys in my network that do it for a living, but they have a bankroll. So always bet with your wallet, not with your heart. That was the best advice my dad ever gave me. And that's referring to if it's your favorite fighter and he's fighting, don't even bet on him. That's why I don't have favorite boxers. I just love the sport of boxing. That's the way I go into these fights. So even when I break down a guy and I'm going with Puyo, it's not like I'm a fan of him. It's just what I see in my logical reasoning. But I'm not always right. Is Muscle a pro better? He is. Muscle's a pro better. I bet for, yeah. So Mark, one of my clients says he bets for the he calls it the juice. So he's a horse gambler. So horse races. Horse racing's huge here in Sydney. So every now and then he'll be like, Johnny, come to the races, and we'll have a whole VIP section that his betting app comped him. So he bet, my buddy has bet so much that his betting app, he must either win so much or lose so much that his betting app will pay for a whole suite at the horse races. And the races here are sweet. Google Randwick horse racing. They got Texas and U.S. Matias was looking. Matias, dude, I'm glad you brought that up, Julius. But dude, Matias looks so weight drained. I mean, Puyo, they naturally have the cheekbones here, but Matias was like. So he's bigger. Matias, they both cut a lot of weight to make 40. It makes you wonder what Matias would look like at 47. Or even what Puyo would look like at 47. Yeah, Matias is a dog. Matias is a dog. I just feel when we're going into the arsenal, the bag, the method of victory, the path to victory, I just think Puyo, it's not going to be too difficult for Puyo to negate his backhand. So you're expecting Matias to outbox Puyo. I just don't see it, man. I don't like his feet. I don't like his feet. I don't like his setups. I don't like his entrances in terms of how he is entering the pocket. His jab is a bit better than people give him credit for, but everything Matias does is here. It's on the line. It's here. It's not. It's all like, and I think with that Puyo southpaw style lateral movement, he could feint, he could jab and exit and then counter. I'm expecting Puyo to counter the shit out of Matias, to be honest with you. Good, you need to change your name to Promise. I wish I would have bet more on Morrell stopping Tszyu. David, we see eye to eye on that as well. What's up, Mo Price? I see you. They both better be switched on. Dude, we got some great fights, boys. This New York card, we got some great fights. So the parlay right now, I mean, my locks, Shakur money line, Morrell money line. If you want a knockdown prop, over 0.5 knockdowns in Berlanga and Shiraz, and then Matias and Puyo, I got Puyo on the money line. All that's good value. So Morrell starts. David Morrell fights in an hour and a half. I know. I hope Ed wins too, but you never know. Where y'all betting? I can give you a slip. Matias does look drained, but no IBF clause. Yeah, Matias looked like he had a rough cut. Khatiev got stopped in the amateurs. Khatiev did get stopped in the amateurs. That fight's on YouTube if you want to watch it. And the thing about Khatiev versus Morrell, you could watch what Khatiev looked like in the Amis versus what he looks like now. He has not changed anything. He uses that marauding style. He fights with, he gives his opponent both shoulders. So, you know, fighters, big punchers will either, you know, usually give your opponent both shoulders, and more defensive guys will go more of a bladed stance here. Khatiev is just here. And he's not even here. He's here, lean, and he gets hit a lot. I don't like how much he gets hit. And Morrell's very, he's a sharp puncher. He's a big puncher. I think this will be Morrell's third fight at 174. You know, he didn't stop Kalachik. Obviously, he lost to Benny, and this will be his third fight. I think even though I picked Benny to beat him, and I won money on Benny beating Morrell, I learned a lot about Morrell in that fight. Like, in a good way. What I saw from Morrell in that fight, I was like, okay, this kid could fight at the world level. Because I was kind of hesitant. I had watched Morrell's fights, I think, at the Armory in St. Paul, Minnesota. He had fought all these fights at the Armory. He pretty much got his career going during the pandemic in the bubble. And so a lot of these wins, a lot of these stoppages were kind of like, I really wasn't a believer. So going into that Benny fight, I'm like, man, I don't know. I think Benny's a level above. And it served to be true. But what I learned about Morrell through that loss, I'm like, dude, Morrell is good. Morrell is a dog. What's up, Gio? What's up, boys? Wherever you guys are tuning in, let's tap in. Let's like it. We got we're floating between 120 and 150 on the live stream. Just like it. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe. PJ's in the house. Shakur, gold members in the house. Shakur fights. So Morrell fights in an hour and a half. Shakur fights in 4 hours. Shakur fights in 4 hours. So my girl spent the night last night. So she's actually in the back room. So I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer, then I'm going to go on a hike. It's Sunday morning my time. I do have UFC. You want to talk about the UFC now, Mark? I got some UFC action. If anybody wants, guys, I've been covering the UFC. I've been watching the UFC since Jump '93. I'm an old head. And then, you know, I've been interviewing the MMA fighters and writing about MMA since 2014. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna turn the page, guys, and we're gonna go to the UFC. So what I'll do first is I'll just go over the what's happening, and I'll tell you who I'm betting on. Okay, because a lot of my guys who bet on UFC, they pick too many fights. They'll try to win like 6, 7, 8 leg parlays and one. There's a lot of parity in the UFC. If you guys, you know, parity means that there's a lot of even matchups. 5 years ago, it was much easier to win money on the UFC because there were a lot of, I guess there weren't so many regional promotions. There wasn't like Dana White Contender Series. There wasn't the road to the UFC. That's Dana White looking for a fight. So that being said, you got to be smart who you bet on. Okay. Here's some. I mean, Mike Davis is going to beat Mitch Ramirez, but I'm not betting on Mike Davis. I love when Mike Davis fights. I can't believe Mike Davis never broke through to become a star. In terms of aggressive striking, Mike Davis ticks all the boxes, but his career didn't pan out how I thought it would be. I like Kennedy Njoku to beat Walter Walker. Kennedy's $1.47. I like Chitty Bang Bang too, and Njokuani. People sleep on Chitty and Njokuani. Njokuani's striking's on point. He's fighting Jake Matthews, doesn't have a lot of head movement. Jake Matthews' career's kind of been up and down. I was at the Jake Matthews fight in 2015 in Adelaide when James Vick submitted him in the first round. But Chitty's $1.74. I like Chitty on the money line. Upset alert, Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. Chris Curtis is an Ohio guy. You know, he trains with Sean Strickland. He has that boxing style, boxing heavy style, shoulder roll. Sometimes he'll lull you to sleep, doesn't have a lot of volume. Max Griffin, been in the UFC forever, you know, Northern California guy. He could grapple. His gas tank sometimes is questionable. I'm not saying I'm taking Max, but it might be something to sprinkle on Max on a decision against Chris. I love Petrino to stop Austin Lane. If you could get odds on Petrino, I thought Austin Lane, former NFL guy, great story, but he's just not at the high level. Petrino should stop him. Also, Morgan Charrier. A lot of you guys might not know, but like, Morgan Charrier is a freaking dog. He's fighting Nate Landwehr. That's a really fun fight. Charrier is a French kid. He came up through Cage Warriors, and I watched him all through the regional scene in the UK. When he got signed to the UFC, I was like, Morgan Charrier is a goddamn dog, world-class fighter. The odds yesterday were a bit closer. Landwehr's 2-1 now. Charrier should outclass Landwehr. Kelvin Cater, Steve Mean Garcia. That's my fight. That's the one I'm going heavy on. Steve Mean Garcia, mate. If you don't know who that is, he lost his first fight on short notice in the UFC, And then he's, I think, 4 or 5 in a row by stoppages. He fights really mean. Kelvin Cater, you know, New Jersey or New England cartel guy, you know, grew up, you know, came up with Rob Font. I know Font went up to Faraz Sahabi up at TriStar to train. And since Font left to go to Sahabi up at TriStar, Font's looked incredible. I'm not sure if Cater has done the same thing. I think Cater's a bit long in the tooth. I like Steve Garcia on the money line. I like Garcia to win that fight. I got to be honest with you. And that I never bet on Derek Lewis either. Yeah, dude, if you're picking Cater, I mean, you need to watch. You need to watch how Steve Garcia fights. I'm not betting on any. I never bet on any Derek Lewis fight. So yeah, I'm not betting on that fight. Yeah, Cater. If you look at trajectory and how they go about their business, man, Steve, there's a lot to like about Garcia. I just don't like when Garcia. Whoever stops Garcia, I think it's, you know, it's going to be a big puncher. I don't think Cater could do that. Wonder Boy's fighting. I'm not betting on him. I've had Wonder Boy on the channel before, though. I've interviewed Wonder Boy. This was probably 2016, 2017. He's a great dude. 40, 41 years old, fighting Bonfim. Bonfim, you know, I think either him or his brother is coming off a loss. But when Bonfim broke through, people were talking about Bonfim becoming a champion, having the skills to be a champ. I'm staying away from that fight. I just don't bet on Derek Lewis, only because in 2016, he was fighting Mark Hunt. So, guys, I've been in the game a while. So, like, whenever a fighter just doesn't show up, dude, Derek Lewis has had so many performances here and here and here and here. So I just don't bet on him. But, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to win or lose. I just don't bet on Derek Lewis fights. It's the same thing about Omar and Brandon Figueroa. I don't bet on Omar and Brandon Figueroa. The longer you remember on my channel, you'll know why. I don't bet on the Figueroas. I don't bet on Derek Lewis. Who else don't I bet on? I don't bet on Jake Paul. Yeah, so things like that. Junior Taffa. Nah, I ain't betting on Junior Taffa. That dude's he's an Aussie. Like, there's just I'm not going to bet money on a guy who doesn't consistently show me that he's coming in prepared, a guy that's well-rounded. You know, I don't like betting on specialists in the UFC these days. You know, a guy who can't grapple, a guy, you know, he might be able to defend the take. Look, if you can defend the takedown and you're a striker like Josh Van has like the quickest reflex hips in the world in terms of when people do try to shoot a double leg with Josh, he's able to defend it and then forces the fight on the feet. Taffa doesn't have that. Neither Taffa brother has that. So I don't bet on those fights. DJ trying to bait me. Yeah, I'm just letting you know why. I'm not saying don't bet on Taffa. I'm just telling you what, I don't bet on Taffa. You know, as you guys progress in whatever your gambling career is, I advise you to have perimeters. Either guys you bet on, like I win a lot of money on Charles Johnson, who fights in the UFC. I used to win money on Charles Johnson, the Pride of St. Louis, when he was fighting in LFA. I win all Charles Johnson fights go the distance, except when I'm pretty sure he stopped Van. I win a lot of money on Adrian Yanez, knockdown props. I win a lot of money on Josh Van, knockdown props. So there's certain fighters in the UFC that I bet on, certain boxers. I always bet on Gabby Fundora, knockdown props, or to win by stoppage. She's my favorite girl fighter to bet on. So I have my own perimeters, and I think you guys over time should have perimeters. And the more you win consistently, those sort of like do's or don'ts will add up, and it's about being consistent with that stuff too. Like guys who are one-dimensional in the MMA game, man, too risky to bet on. If Shiraz, yeah, I'll do it, dude. I'll do it, whatever you want. But I'm not married to the pick. At this stage of the game, I don't like a guy in Shiraz who was gifted a draw against Adames, whose entire camp for the last 2 years was talking about Shiraz was going to be undisputed at 60, was calling out all these big names, called out Janibek Alimhanaleh. Alimhanaleh throws the contract in his face. Shiraz publicly ducks Alimhanaleh. Alimhanaleh then has to fight a Andre Mikhailovich kid in Sydney who's a club guy, and it was known. And then all of a sudden, Shiraz thought he was going to dog walk Adames, and he couldn't. And then they come out with this narrative that, oh, he was hurt, or, oh, he was cutting too much weight, so we're moving to 68. Since when? You were supposed to be the best in the world at 60. So now you're moving to 68 because things didn't go your way? I don't like his nonverbal communication in between rounds. I don't like the psychology. I question his grittiness. I question his will. And I expect Berlanga to have the better hand speed. I expect Berlanga to have the better power. Like I said, if Shiraz wants to fight him smart, he fights him at distance. He uses his jab. He uses, you know, his skill set and wins a decision. I just don't think Shiraz is going to do that. Shiraz is going to fight Berlanga brave. I think if Shiraz fights Berlanga in his wheelhouse in the pocket, I just expect Berlanga to be too much in the pocket. We'll see what happens. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's a hill I'll die on. Just like Floyd had to prove it to me against Tevin, Shiraz has to prove it to me before I start betting on him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I thought he got psychologically broken, to be honest with you, against Adames. Go back to the fight. Go after the 4th round, 10 seconds left in the 4th. Watch the body language in between the 4th and 5th. Watch how he acts on the stool. He's just like big-eyed. He doesn't know what to. And Adames is a guy who came up from like 47. You know what I'm saying? Came up from 47. And then people talk about the ammo, and Ammo's a guy who fights at 60, but probably could fight at 47. And Berlanga is a guy who walks around 200 plus pounds. Yeah, PJ, that was a dude. She was a 6-1 dog. You gonna hold it to me? You guys asked me for my upset of the week and expecting those to hit. Upsets of the week are sprinkled. They're talking about chicken. Yeah, Shernika beat that ass. Shernika did belt the ass. I just feel bad for the bettors who picked the fight to go the distance, because the way the ref interjected himself into the outcome in the 9th round was terrible. You gotta let Sharita Metcalf finish that fight. You know what I mean? She was cognizant, she was aware, she was answering all of his questions, and for the ref to become part of that outcome was, I thought, egregious. It was terrible. Yeah, Muscles parlay hit. I put it in the group. Guys, if you're a member of Johnny Says Boxing Insiders, you got Muscles parlay. It hit. So if you haven't subscribed to that, couple bucks a month, go to my channel, join that. Johnny Says Boxing Insider group, couple bucks a month. You'll get a lot of the pro better locks, parlays. And if you haven't already liked this video, subscribe to the channel. Guys, I just heard my girl get up. We're about to go on a hike. I appreciate everybody. Good luck with everybody on their bets. If you want me to share your parlays, either email me them, johnnystofco@iCloud. Follow me on Insta, Johnny Stofco. I'll follow you back. You could share the screenshot, or you could type them out in a comment on my channel, and I'll screenshot it and repost. Other than that, let's get after it.